Am I the a-hole for giving my siblings what they want by refusing to spend time around them and their kids? I'm 20 male, 12 years younger than my sister, and 14 years younger than my brother. I remember them always disliking me. I'm 100% their full biological brother. My parents are my biological parents. That was something I used to question, but my dad and I did 23andMe to alleviate my fears. What my parents think is that my siblings were jealous of me when I was born, and extended family believes the same. They never seemed that excited and used to act like I was crazy, wild, and out of control. They even said stuff about me being impossible to control when nobody else was around. But they were never alone with me. They avoided me when I was a kid and moved out while I was still young. I was maybe 10 when they started talking about me being a terror as a little kid. They even called me a monster and said I almost put them off having kids. Our relationship never changed. They ignored my birthdays, ignored my graduation, and didn't invite me to their weddings or baby showers. They've said in group chats repeatedly that they don't want me around their kids, saying they don't want their kids to be wild little monsters like I used to be. Everyone has called them out on their behavior, but they insist they won't let me influence their kids. Nobody else has ever complained about me as a kid like that. At school, I was even considered too quiet and shy. Teachers struggled to get me to socialize or speak in class. Friends even said I was the quietest and have zero idea where this comes from. After years of hearing it, having them avoid me, and saying they don't want me around their kids, I've decided I won't be. I'll skip anything they attend, so I don't have to spend any time around them or their kids. The rest of my family tells me I shouldn't do that, because my nieces and nephews deserve to know me. But it's more of a headache than it's worth, and there's no guarantee I'd even be allowed to say hi to them. My parents went nuts on my siblings over this and said how disgusting their treatment of me has always been. They told me my siblings are in the wrong, and I should just ignore them. But it feels like too much BS to tolerate, so why not give my siblings what they want and live a more peaceful life? Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Wow, after 20 years, parents finally grew a spine and told your siblings that they are the monsters, not you. Sad that it took them that long. Not the a-hole, your siblings are complete a-holes here. Hope the rest of your family will grow a spine as well and give them a slap back to reality check, because they need it. Right? I'm 11 and 12 years younger than my siblings. Full siblings, not half. My parents would have never allowed them to treat me that way. And my nibblings and siblings benefited too. I was around to be another set of hands when they needed it. Maybe the siblings need to be excluded for a bit. They need a serious come-to-Jesus chat and should have gotten it 15 years ago. Not the a-hole, your siblings have been hating you for years for no reason and bad-mouthing you around and even insulting you and going to the point of shunning you out and excluding you, and your extended family expects you to just deal with it? No, give your siblings what they want. The only little entitled terrors is them. They can tell their own children why their uncle isn't part of their lives because they are just self-centered a-holes that never matured past the age of 12 and 14. Their kids were taught I am not their uncle, so maybe they'll never care or consider me an uncle. That's gotta be confusing though, because I know my parents talk about me and label me as such. Not the a-hole, but don't be a doormat. Don't skip any events because they'll be there. Just go and ignore them. Pay them no mind and just give them the same energy. Why ruin your relationship with your family because they will be there? They feel so strongly about it, they can skip out. Don't give them what they want. Because it makes me unhappy to be around them. That's why giving them what they want also makes my life better. My family might hate it, but ignoring them just isn't enough for me to enjoy myself. No, my dude. You need to embrace the petty. Let the rest of the family in on the joke, and then show up to family gatherings in a blue mohawk wig and fake tattoos all over. Animal from the Muppets inspired grunge rock clothing. And flip-flop between that look and something that screams corporate lawyer. So that siblings never know who's showing up to Christmas, but Nana knows it's a game and is in on it. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to lend my brother 10 grand after he spent all his savings on a luxury car and now wants me to bail him out? So I, 28 female, have a brother 30 male who's always struggled with money. He makes a decent salary but has never been good at saving. A few months ago, he bought a super expensive luxury car, draining his savings, maxing out credit cards, and borrowing money from everyone. Now he's behind on payments and called me last week asking for $10,000 to keep the car from being repossessed. I told him no. I've worked hard for my money, and I can't justify giving him that much when he's been irresponsible with his finances. He got mad, saying I'm being selfish and that I should help because we're family. He even said that if the roles were reversed, he'd help me out. I told him I don't trust him with money after everything that's happened, and I'm not going to keep bailing him out. Now he's telling our parents I'm being unreasonable, and they're pressuring me to help. He has taken it further and is threatening to take my dog, since it was a present he got me for my birthday. Am I the a-hole for refusing to lend my brother $10,000 after he spent all his savings on a luxury car and now wants me to bail him out? Let your parents bail his butt out. Siblings are not entitled to each other's assets. He can't afford car is not life-threatening emergency. I get similar calls from my siblings because I made smarter choices in life. Maybe no one should bail him out? A 30-year-old is old enough to live with the consequences of their very bad decision to buy a car they couldn't afford. Not the a-hole. He can sell the car and get something cheaper. This could be a good lesson for him if no one bails him out. He'd never help you if you ended up in this situation, as he wouldn't have the money either. If your parents feel so strongly about it, they can lend it themselves. I agree. Sometimes the best help is letting someone face the consequences and learn from it. If he steals your dog, file charges. I am hoping you have vet records. I suggested OP getting the dog chipped to avoid this. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to go no contact with my aunt and uncle and telling mom I'd rather go no contact with her and her family? My dad died when I, 21 male, was 5. My mom didn't like my dad's siblings, so she stopped me from seeing them for over a year, and they had to go to court and fight for the right to see me through what's considered grandparent visitation, but can be applied to other biological relatives who had a significant role in your life prior to the death of your parent. It was shown to be in my best interest to maintain the relationship with my aunt and uncle, so they won and got to see me twice a month. My mom ended up remarrying, and her husband's finances were a mess when they met. He also had, I think, 3 kids he was supposed to pay for and didn't, but also didn't see. Then he and my mom had kids together. My aunt and uncle knew about the financial issues, so they would buy school supplies for me, put money into my school lunch account, or give me the money to do it if there was any issue with them doing it directly. They also bought me essentials when I was with them. My mom told them they couldn't see me anymore if they didn't buy for the other kids, but my aunt and uncle brought up the visitation order. My mom tried to remove their visitation and even used the fact that both were now married, and I now had an extra aunt and uncle, but mom said they were strangers who shouldn't be around me. My uncle argued that mom's husband was a stranger who shouldn't have been brought into my life. She said getting another dad is different from an aunt or uncle's spouse. I told mom I didn't have another dad. She blamed my disrespect on my aunt and uncle. Finances at mom's house kept getting worse, and because of my aunt and uncle, I never suffered as badly. Mom was mad because she wasn't allowed to keep me away from them legally and couldn't afford to move to get me away from them. There were times all the food at mom's house was from a food bank or soup kitchen. Clothes and other stuff were provided by charities. I never had to struggle as much. My mom made a point of telling me my aunt and uncle were disgusting people for letting my half-siblings do without. When I turned 18, I moved in with some friends and distanced myself from my mom, and I saw my aunt and uncle more. It bothered mom a lot. She told me she didn't understand me having a relationship with them when they would let my half-siblings starve. I told her they had no obligation to kids not related to them. After a couple of years of this and me ignoring mom 99% of the time, she's demanding I go no contact with my aunt and uncle so I can be her son and her kid's brother. She said I should be disgusted that they wouldn't take care of my family and the siblings I love. I told her I would never go no contact with my aunt and uncle, and I'd rather go no contact with her and her family, and that I was shocked she didn't pick up on that since I haven't seen her kids in more than 2 years and hardly ever respond to her texts or DMs. Mom said my half-siblings don't deserve this, and that she certainly doesn't. I told her she wrecked our stability by marrying her a-hole of a husband, and after that, she had no right to expect me to show that kind of loyalty. She started going off in my DMs, so I muted her, and now I'm just considering my options. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. As an adult, you can choose your family. You can also decide to cut some members out. Go no contact with your bio mom and let her fester in the mess she created. Go live your best life with those who truly care about you and your well-being. Not the a-hole. That's something I really enjoy doing already. My friends who I live with are family to me and me to them. We all come from less than perfect homes. My aunts and uncles have also become their honorary aunts and uncles. There's a good reason why your aunt and uncle have been given that honor by your housemates. There is, and I know we've become one pretty nice makeshift family by choice. One thing that blows my mind is that your mom married a deadbeat dad who already didn't take care of the children he brought into the world. She knew he wasn't a good provider, but decided to have more children with him. And then she's mad at your uncle and aunt for not stepping in and bridging the gap. Your half-siblings are the responsibility of their parents, not their older half-brother or your aunt and uncle. Next time she gives you grief, ask which auntie and uncle of her husband's older kids stepped up and paid the way for the kids he owes child support to. And maybe she should ask those strangers to also support the kids he had with her. The damned audacity. Good Lord. My mom only cared about what she wanted. That was so clear when she chose to move him in and marry him knowing he had so much debt and years of money issues that she then made the two of us live with. And then for her to act shocked when I didn't want him called my second dad, F my life. Not the a-hole. Your mom is reaping what she sowed. No contact is maybe even too friendly. I'm surprised no one called CPS on them. Live your life with positive people around you. My aunt and uncle actually did once. They were concerned because of how tight things were, and my mom refused to let them send stuff over for me. Last story. Am I the a-hole for making sure my daughter has everything she needs? I have a child, 14 female, with my ex. I was ordered to pay $1,000 a month in child support, which is fine. I can afford it, and I'll do anything for my child. But the problem is, isn't this money supposed to be used on my child? I don't feel like that's the case. I don't understand why my child wears hand-me-downs or eats cheap, crappy food. So I've started sending extra stuff. Like on the days I know her mom can't give her a ride, I'll get her a taxi, or I'll order food for her and send it to their house. On the nights she tells me her mom is making nuggets or something like that. Well, her mom thinks I'm an a-hole and that this is causing problems in her house. Not sure why that's my problem. I feel like everyone was so busy with what is best for my ex that they didn't even care about what is best for my child. I have 50-50 custody, and I gladly agreed to pay child support, but only because I was told the money would go towards making sure my daughter has similar lifestyles in both houses. And this is not what happened. I understand my ex's situation, I really do. She is disabled, and aside from my child, she has an older kid from a deadbeat and 2 younger ones with her husband. She wants to treat them all equally, but frankly, I don't care about them. I don't understand her mindset of, don't send things to your daughter because it makes the other kids jealous. If you want to send something, send it for all of the kids. Those aren't my kids. I understand that $1,000 a month is not much money, but if I'm paying for her insurance, medical bills, school, hobbies, allowance, and all of her other expenses during the 50% of the time that she's with me, that means her mom is only responsible for 50% of her basic needs. So how hard can it be to make sure those needs are met? I get told that she pays for electricity and toilet paper and water bills, etc. Well, so do I. And if it's such a problem, then from now on I will give my daughter some toilet paper to take to her mom's house. I get told that I should also pay my ex for her effort, for helping my daughter with homework and preparing her meals. Why? Is that not her child too? And if I'm going to pay for every freaking thing, I might as well hire a nanny who does the job well. I don't understand the mindset of, so what if your child is eating fast food every other night? What if she has to walk for 30 minutes in an unsafe neighborhood? Those are all fine, until my daughter gets sick or gets kidnapped or worse. If I can prevent it, why shouldn't I? Do I really need to wait for something to happen to her? Because if I send my daughter a taxi, it will hurt her kids' feelings? Well, I'm sorry. I don't give a damn about her kids' feelings when it comes to my child's health and safety. I have made my decision. I'm taking her back to court, and I'm getting full custody of my child now that my daughter gets a say. I didn't try for full custody before because I felt like it would be a selfish decision to not let her be raised by her mom at least half the time. But now I feel like it would be a selfish decision not to make sure my daughter is safe and healthy and happy. And if that makes me an a-hole, I'm just going to have to get used to it. I think child support also helps pay rent and bills, as well as her clothes and food. I think buying her clothes to have there is fine, but I personally think sending food because she doesn't like what they're having is going too far. Child support also pays rent, utilities, food, school needs, etc. I don't know where you guys live, but that much may not go too far. Sounds like the mom is trying to make the most out of the money she has and gets. You're trying so hard to frame the mom as neglectful, and yet the only examples you have is her wearing hand-me-downs and eating chicken nuggets. I don't know where anyone is getting that she's not cared for. She is. You're just being an a-hole for some reason. In your own biased opinion, you haven't provided anything that suggests she being neglected in any way. $1,000 a month in a high cost of living area isn't much either. So again, not sure why people are falling over themselves about it. This is just a single mom bad post. Look, I'm not trying to frame her as neglectful or anything else. What I'm saying is that I didn't work my butt off so that my daughter gets to live in poverty. I also didn't work my butt off to end up paying for someone else's family. What is the point of having this job and this life if I can't share it with my only child? And my daughter is frustrated. She comes home to me and she has a comfortable life. And just as she is starting to get used to it, she has to leave and go live in a small crowded house where she can't even have some quiet time or a nice meal. This is just not working for us. Do you want full or more custody? Maybe it would be better for your kid if she spent more time with you. Full custody. Of course she can visit her mom whenever she wants, but I want her to live with me. This is what I would do in your case. You provide plenty for your child. The mother should also be providing. If she can't manage it with a husband, then that's not your problem to take care of her other 3 kids. Your main concern is your daughter. If she wants to live with you, then go back to court.